Before I get in, just to point out the basic configuration for those who might not be completely familiar with it. This is the attitude of the spacecraft as it sits on top of the Saturn I booster. These flat boxes here on the floor are stowage boxes, and these are all hard cover, hard metal boxes. They'll have appropriate fasteners on them to form a positive latch, and we'll stow most of the soft material, such as our thermal meteoroid garments, seawater pump, tissue containers, and the like. Anything that's flammable, in other words. This lattice work is a recent innovation which will serve to protect all the switches here in the center part of the main display and control area when an astronaut goes extravehicular. These will keep him from bumping it either with his back or his chest as he slides out the hatch. We now have a hatch which is hinged to the spacecraft, and it's sealed on the outside rather than from the inside. It's very similar to the Gemini hatch design, and we find this is much superior to operationally, and it's also a lot safer than the old design, which was sealed from the inside with hatch panels that had to be installed from the interior. This is one of the major changes to the spacecraft that has come about as a result of the 204 investigation.
Isley, Walter Cunningham, and Wally Schirra. Moving into the...
Now coming up on the 2-minute mark, T-minus 2 minutes and counting, T-minus 2. Not as much reports now on the communication circuits as everybody stands by monitoring the various consoles and watching the various parameters to ensure everything is okay. T-minus 1 hour, 1 minute, 43 seconds and counting. We are still proceeding.
And just at this moment, a great gust of wind sweeps our press camp here.
90-second mark in our countdown. Mark, T-minus 90 seconds and counting. T-minus 90. We have conditioned the liquid oxygen in the first stage of the Saturn launch vehicle. All tanks in the 2 stages now pressurizing. Most of the work over these final several minutes concerned with the launch vehicle, directed by the test conductor, Don Carlson. 1 minute, 10 seconds and counting. We still are go at this time. Coming up on 1 minute. Mark, T-minus 60 seconds and counting. We are go for Apollo 7 at this time.
This is the first manned test of the Saturn 1B.
Now pressurized, and the vehicle is go, as is the spacecraft at this time.
First American three-man flight.
T-minus 40 seconds and counting.
The first step in our final series of tests to get American on the moon by the end of 1969.
30 seconds and counting. We'll get ignition of those 8 engines in the first stage at the 3-second mark in the countdown. Now T-minus 21 seconds and counting. We have completed our power transfer. The Saturn 1B launch vehicle, which now weighs 1.3 million pounds, is ready to go. Coming up on the 10-second mark. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. We have ignition. Commit liftoff. We have liftoff.
Slowly.
This is launch control. We have cleared the tower.
Tower clear. Took 5 seconds for that sound to reach us.
Roll program has commenced.
A beauty of an absolute cloudless sky. As scheduled. It looks good. From here it looks fine. Straight and true on its course. Get a good view of it there with our long-range camera. Wally Schirra, Don Isley, Walter Cunningham, the latter two making their first space flight. Wally Schirra, his third, riding that
1 minute, 20 seconds into the flight. All
big
systems go on the ground
spacecraft
and in the air.
The voices now of mission control changed from Jack King to
1
Paul Haney
minute,
at
40
Houston.
seconds.
They've gone through maximum dynamic pressure.
Flight director asked the flight dynamics officer if he likes it, and he says, yes, sir, it looks good.
Look at the flame. 700 gallons of RP1 and liquid oxidizer burning up there every second. That thing developing 1,600,000
Coming up on 2 minutes,
pounds.
mark 2 minutes. We're having a status check. Apollo 7 has been given a go for staging.
Go for staging, the separation of that first stage. That comes in about
2 minutes,
10 minutes, 10 seconds from now. That's the first critical point after liftoff.
Inboard engines have shut down.
And they're staging.
Outboard engines have shut down. Schirra called both events. He's got ignition, and he says we're up to thrust on the second stage.
That is our Igor
The thrust
long-range
is
camera.
okay at 2 minutes, 40 seconds into the flight.
So the 15th consecutive successful flight of the
Well, it
S-1B,
is all
Saturn
beautiful.
1B.
That tower has really jettisoned. It went way out. We're nearly 50 miles altitude now and about 60 miles downrange.
You see the escape tower tumbling up there in the upper
3
left-hand
minutes,
side of the
5
screen.
seconds into the flight.
He got the separation plan from the first section, and the
Schirra
second
just
stage
up
has
with
ignited.
Capcom here in Houston. A very clean voice communication today. 3 minutes, 25 seconds into the flight.
This is the best view we've ever had from our magnificent Igor camera.
Trajectory and guidance give another go here. Well,
Of course,
it is a little bumpy on the second stage, a little bumpy. But we can't hear any complaints. 70 miles altitude and about 120 miles downrange.
This second stage burns until 10 minutes and 15 seconds into the flight. Another 6 minutes. That's a
10 seconds into the flight.
pound thrust engine.
Schirra says the gimbal check looks very good. And his observation is the 1G stuff is great. Apparently the G loads were quite low.
That means
We've been monitoring Schirra's heart rate because that's the only physical parameter we have coming through, and it at launch and through the early stages ran about 90 to 92 beats. 4 minutes, 50 seconds into the flight. The flight director is polling all his stations here and is getting enthusiastic goes at every console. 5 minutes into the flight. And we've heard from Don Isley, he reported the spacecraft guidance go. 90 miles altitude now.
The definition is pretty good down here. I can see the center hatch. Actually, I'm amazed. It looks real good. Hey, Don, how about saying something since you're panned?
Say again?
Hey, I can read you. I can see you loud and clear. It really looks good. I'm amazed.
Coming in hips down, you want us to point?
Lean back a little bit. You're too close to the camera. There you are. We'll have Cecil B. to Stafford down here directing.
You forgot to shave this morning, Isley. Lost my razor.
Yeah, some of the reproductions here are real good. I can look out through Wally's rendezvous window, and I can see the coas up there, the orbrate ball.
Right down the Gulf Coast.
Okay, what's the next one? A little closer, Wally. Says keep those cards coming. Keep those cards and letters coming in, folks. It's loud and clear.
That's clear. Pretty show for the whole family. If you'd like to get a little out the window of the TV camera, I can give you New Orleans right here.
The lovely Apollo room at high atop everything.
That's right. Coming to you live from outer space, the one and only original Apollo Orbiting Roadshow. Starring the great acrobats of outer space, Wally Schirra and Walt Cunningham. Yeah.
Just a minute, Wally. Let's see. Oh, it's a little message to Deke Slayton. A little bit closer, Wally. Kind of looks like something about a. Are you a?
That's right.
Looks like it says, "Are you a turtle, Deke Slayton?"
That's right. This mixes the powdered concentrate with the water, and then we end up with a complete drink. We may have a zero-G demonstration available for you here, where we can spin the bag, and you'll notice the bubbles are sort of breaking and falling apart. They do not form a solid mass of bubble, but you can see in the center a rather interesting formation of bubbles. Coming over to the center window, or the hatch window, we have some lines that were added to it to give us attitude reference for re-entry. The lines describe a 55-degree bank to the left, a 55-degree bank to the right, and two 90-degree banks either left or right.
And Apollo 7, Houston, it's a good picture of the hatch window. We can clearly see the lines. Apollo 7, Houston, we're losing your voice description.
Walt, why don't you take the camera back and you can show us the overhead section above the couches.
Okay, Wally, we've got your voice back now.
Roger. How's the picture, Jack?
Picture is very good, very good.
guess I'm supposed to say something. We forgot to bring our own clacker. We didn't have one on the spacecraft. We did have cue cards, but we don't have those either. The best part, of course, is to come home. We were here for a number of months, but we left rather suddenly. Now we're back. And it's a real treat to... And, of course, we're all looking at the people who gave us a great send-off, and the real treat, of course, is a great return. Thank you.
Well, I just want to say that it's great to be back here, and I want to thank you all for coming out to give us a warm welcome. Thank you.
Wally's been through this return several times, but it's not. But it's not old hat to Don and I, and I don't know what I was expecting when we landed here, but I certainly wasn't expecting this. And all I can say is thank you for the warm welcome.
10 minutes? Yeah.